Hey guys, this is Greg Beast here. I wanted to do a quick review of East Coast Dye's new Vortex mesh. They were cool enough to hand it over to me and let me give it a shot. And I wanted to test it out from a face-off standpoint. So from a shooting standpoint, when you take it out of the box, this is definitely a little bit stiffer than the Hero mesh. So when you shoot, it's going to have good hold, it's going to come out hard. Obviously, the adverse effect of that from a face-off guy is we're always worried about the bubble, right? The dreaded bubble. So when you pull a ball out and you catch it here, we want it to drop right into the pocket. Now the reason I had some hope about the Vortex mesh was it's a different style of mesh than we've ever seen before because it has two separate kinds of diamonds. So at the very top, you have the standard diamond, okay? And it goes the first few rungs. As you drop towards the middle of the pocket, it turns into these big diamonds, okay? So you don't really have that classical shape that you're gonna find on regular mesh. It drops into these big diamonds, which makes it a little bit softer in the middle of the pocket and gives it hold, but it also gives it a bit of a natural channel when you're stringing it. When I string my sticks, I like to have a top knot that's really tight, okay? I double interlock up top, and then I like to have one nylon sometimes up top. Either way, I'm gonna have 3 laces. So it's either 3 shooting laces or it's 1 nylon and 2 laces, depending on how I'm feeling or how things are throwing. And then my sidewall is a little different than the average sidewall. I have found that most guys, when they string or they get their sticks strung by people, especially out on the island, these interlocks are super, super tight because they just cookie cutter string things for everybody being like a shooter or a mid-pocket player. The problem is we see this a lot of times. As a stick, especially a face-off head, starts to warp a little bit, the ball gets stuck constantly. And especially guys who might use like a Nike CEO or the STX Dual where those heads just bend like crazy, you're gonna very quickly have a head that is unusable in a game because of the ball will get stuck. And most of the time, it has very little to do with the plastic of the head and most to do with the way the style of the sidewall strings are strung, and they're these really big, tight knots. So the sidewall doesn't have any sway. The way I like to string it is I learned this actually from Rob at Tribe 7, where you just basically swoop. So you lock it up here, then you just swoop around the sidewalls in the middle of the pocket. And that'll give the pocket a lot of sway back and forth, and then you lock it again at the bottom. So the pocket won't move a lot, but it'll move laterally. And that's great for carrying, but also from a face-off perspective, the head can warp a little bit more in a game and it won't cost you a face-off with the ball getting stuck, which is great. So once you pop it out, notice I have the full width of my sidewall now. Guys who have really tight sidewalls strings, their pocket's gonna basically be stuck here because the sidewall will have this big knot and there's no movement laterally here. So I like to just loop the sidewalls right here. That way I could throw a good pass, take a good shot, but I'm not given this illegalities from the ball getting stuck because my pocket, my sidewall strings are too tight. So that being said, when you are facing off with this, this is an OG blade, so this is gonna bend on an oblique angle. I've been using the same head, obviously, everybody knows, for the last decade in the MLL. I strung this up to see how this is gonna look. So when I lock the ball here, okay, the ball sits in nice and tight. When I go to pull it out, slight bubble here, but it drops real nicely with one cradle into the pocket. So it maintains its shape really well. It's stiff enough to shoot and pass with. But I just strung this up today and it's already dropping right in there for me. So as you can see, it's not really that big of an issue. So I think that this mesh, if you are a player who faces off, but you're also an offensive threat and you're playing midfield, which you should be as a high school guy especially, or if you're like me in college where you kind of play man up and you face off, if you like to shoot the ball hard, you like to have a consistent pocket from that side, but you also need a pocket that's good for face-offs and doesn't bubble, I think this Vortex mesh is actually very, very good. You can shoot hard with it and it drops right into the pocket. So I think that you should definitely give it a shot, but when you string it up, like I said, when you have a little bit stiffer mesh, you're gonna wanna try to mess around with how you string your sidewalls. Try that loop, that swirl down rather than making these big tight knots. And when you get somebody else to tighten and string your stick for you, try to make sure they know that they can't have these big knots. It's going to really set you back. But that's my review of the Vortex mesh from a face-off standpoint. The ball drops right in. It's a great channel. It's very, very easy to string, and I would definitely give it a shot if you want. For those of you who are going to ask, obviously, it's like the first thing that comes up when I post something. This is an OG blade, and this is lizard skin tape that I use for all my sticks now. Great grip, really easy to apply, and it gets rid of face-off hand, that huge blister that we all get. No more issues with that once you buy this stuff. So a couple good things to try out, and I wish you guys the best of luck.